Hello guys, it's Simon from SD AvGeek here. Today I'm back at San Diego International Airport, Terminal 1, and I'm flying with Allegiant from San Diego to Las Vegas. I'm flying on the A319 Airbus today, and I've never flown with Allegiant before, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how it is. And I'm excited that you're coming along with me. Thanks for checking in. The first observation I'll make about Allegiant is they're a little bit naughty in the check-in area because they've got the touchscreen check-ins, and the other airlines there, Spirit, JetBlue, Frontier, you can check in and get your boarding pass, but at Allegiant they make you go to the desk if you want a boarding pass. Now, no problem, you might think there's no one really queuing at the desk, and the reason for that is they charge you $5 per boarding pass. Now, I already checked in online, I got my pass, but I think, you know, this is already an example of how low cost or super low cost airlines really can nickel and dime you. So the airport itself is still quiet. It doesn't surprise me still. But to see so many shops and restaurants and bars and everything on the check-in side of the terminal still closed with no real sign of reopening, and even in the terminal here, on the concourse here, very, very quiet as you would expect. There's a bar open, but the coffee shops are closed. You know, it's still a very deserted scene, and I'm finding it varies from airport to airport. You know, the last couple of weeks I've been in really busy airports, I've been in dead airports. You know, I'm travelling on a Thursday afternoon, which might have something to do with it, but still really quiet. Hiding behind the jet bridge on the left-hand side is my plane for Las Vegas. It's a 16-year-old Airbus A319. Allegiant fit 156 economy seats on this plane, and the seating configuration is in a 3-and-3 situation. Instead of lining up with the runway for takeoff, the plane suddenly made a turn into a holding area on the other side of the runway. This is the first time I've experienced this in San Diego.
There's going to be a little bit delay here. Apparently there's an emergency aircraft in the area, and they've actually stopped all departures, so I'm not sure how long it's going to be. So as soon as we hear something, we'll let you know. Thanks.
So that was interesting. As we were taxiing to the runway, we were pulled over because there was an emergency with another aircraft in the area, but we were only there for less than a minute. But the interesting thing is that the minute we pulled over to the side and the captain said there would be a short delay, 5 or 6 people immediately unbuckled and came down to try and use the bathroom. And then of course 30 seconds later the captain's like, no, we've been cleared to go. No thank you. Sorry, the captain said we've been cleared to go, so they all had to go and rush back to their seats. And now we're airborne, of course everyone's rushing back to the bathroom, which means the seats that were spare next to me are now constantly being occupied by people wanting to go to the bathroom. But hey, these things happen. So far this is very interesting. It's a typical low-cost, ultra low-cost experience, and you have to come into these flights with a real open mind. This very much reminds me of the EasyJet and Ryanair experience in the UK. It's just interesting. You board the plane and straight away you can see that there's a lot of seats on this plane. It's full density, but the seats themselves are actually really nice. They're leather seats, they're comfortable, they don't recline, which means you don't have to worry about the person in front of you reclining. The legroom actually surprised me. There's way more legroom than I thought. The seat width is a little tight, so if you were travelling, I don't have anyone sat next to me today, so if you were to have someone next to you it might be a little bit tight, and my flight's only 55 minutes, so I can deal with this. If this was a several hour flight it could be a little bit tight. But the cabin itself is okay. It's old. This plane is 16 years old. It was originally delivered to Cebu Pacific Airlines in 2005. Came over to Allegiant in 2015. So it's a 16-year-old plane, but it's okay. So there is a cabin service and you can order drinks and snacks. I'm not sure what you can order because there is no menus, and they told us to look at the Allegiant app, but there's no Wi-Fi. So I don't really know how we're supposed to find out. But you know how I feel about eating and drinking on planes anyway, especially short hops in these pandemic times. It's a bit of a pain, so I normally don't bother. But I just found it interesting. They do sell drinks. It's credit and debit card only, no cash sales. But again, you have to wait for them to come around to find out exactly what's on offer. But at least they're offering something, that's good. The interesting thing is there's no carpet down the centre of the aisle. It's just like a long plastic floor covering. So, you know, everything about it does say ultra low cost, but that's what Allegiant do, and they do it very well. My ticket price was $97 today, one way to Vegas, and that was including a seat assignment and a carry-on bag. So, you know, if you don't want a seat assignment, if you don't want to take any bags, you could get this flight for under $50. But the one thing that concerned me a little bit in these times of COVID is this plane arrived in San Diego, and the moment the passengers deplaned, the boarding process began. So there was no cleaning, and you could tell because the floors were a little bit dirty. The seats themselves were clean, you know, so no complaints, but there was no cleaning. Maybe that's where we are now. It's the 3rd of June today, so perhaps standards are going back to the pre-pandemic levels. I don't know, but that was an observation that I made.
Current weather conditions, partly cloudy skies, little gusty winds, and temperature still right at 106 degrees. Sure has been our pleasure to have you on board. Hope to see you again on another Allegiant flight, and at this time can I have the flight attendants prepare the cabin for arrival.
We are passing through the cabin one last time to pick up our remaining service items. We are expecting some turbulence landing in Vegas today, so we will be closing up the cabin early. If you do have a beverage that we served to you, we do need you to finish that as soon as possible. We will need to collect it when we come through to get trash.
Yeah.
After a flight time of just 50 minutes, flying mostly at 25,800 feet, we made our approach into Las Vegas at 5:11 p.m. local time, 1 hour and 20 minutes behind schedule. This was due to the plane arriving late into San Diego from its previous sector from Billings, Montana.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Las Vegas. For your continued safety and safety of those around you, please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened and all of your carrying items safely stowed in out of the aisle until the aircraft comes to a complete final stop and the captain turns off the seatbelt sign.
Well guys, unsurprisingly, I've never seen Las Vegas airport this quiet. Hardly surprising, just after lockdown on a Thursday evening. But it is, I mean, every time I've been here in the past, it's been absolutely jammed. Anyway, that was a good flight with Allegiant. Would I fly with them again? Absolutely. If you can get past the nickel and diming of the seat selection and the baggage fees and the boarding pass fee and all those little annoyances that, quite frankly, ultra-cost airlines do, has to be expected. If you can get past that, the plane, the journey, everything was fine. So yeah, I totally use them again. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for checking in with me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care, your SD Adky.